Hi, Dr. Gannon. This is my PowerPoint for the final project. Um, So opportunities in my communities for sports, this is a wide variety. Hayes offers so many sports opportunities like unified bowling, bowling through the Hayes Rec, uh, and having sports practices like cornhole, volleyball, and basketball during their seasons. This allows for inclusion and activity for all those people with IDD, and it makes it easy for them to get involved in the community when they have sports offered like all these. Recreation, it's also another big area. There are many events like bingo, pumpkin painting, dances, movie nights, picnics. They have a Halloween party and Christmas party, painting, and then they have like arts and crafts nights. And I think that's really cool. It brings everyone together and allows them to socialize, which I think is very important in the IDD community. And it allows them to make friends and have all this fun with people that they wouldn't usually hang out with and people that are looking out for them and always trying to make them have a fun night. Park and nature, the Arc Park is a great resource for the IDD community as a lot of the equipment is adapted and tailored to their needs and skill level. It definitely it definitely increased the level of exercise for that community, and it is a great way to get outdoors and socialize with others. Another good example would be out at Bethesda Place, as that's where the farm, or as that's what the farm was made from. Men were with disabilities that created everything and have given numerous opportunities to the IDD community and the Hayes community as a whole. They have like their farmers markets and they sell everything in Hayes and they make their money from that. And it also helps the community out a bunch because we get all that stuff and it helps our everyday lives and we don't even think about it. So for the fitness tab, there's a lot that would be in this area as well. For example, the Center for Health and Improvement would be a good way to get exercise for someone with a disability. Um, because there are many machines that can be tailored to your certain needs. Another spot that I have already said is the Arc Park. It allows for the IDD community to get out and get exercise that they need to continue living a happy and healthy life. Overall, I think the Hayes area does a really good job compared to like everywhere else from what I've heard when it comes to the IDD community. And I think that there's so many opportunities that I haven't even listed that they're just everywhere. And I think the community genuinely cares about how the IDD community lives and how healthy they are. And I think it's really important. So for my park that I put that needs improvement would be Kiwanis Park. This park has been really close to me throughout my whole life, so I have seen it and I have seen what they could add to have that inclusion that they're lacking. So the park has many good additions in recent years, but they're still missing room for inclusion. For example, they have all their play equipment over sand and soft wood chips, which make it impossible for someone that may be in a wheelchair to be involved. Another issue I saw right away was the lack of ramps on the equipment. There were steps on all to the equipment and lack of railings for assistant up to the top. One thing that I saw was a lack of pathways to other sets of equipment, which would make it hard for someone with a walker or a wheelchair to access everywhere in the park. One thing I will say about Kiwanis Park is they have added a lot of good pathways and walkways, which allow for good exercise, but they are still lacking when it comes to the equipment and accessibilities to each set of equipment. So some changes I would make is having either a rubber or turf under all the equipment, as it would help with the look of the playground as well as having that accessibility for everyone. Another change I would make is having a ramp up to one of the side of the playground sets and having stairs on the other side if they still want them to be there, while also adding more railings for people to have assistance all the way up the equipment. One last change I would make is having a big walkway to the playground to the basketball court, which is also connected to a big walkway all the way around the park. Having this walkway would make the whole park accessible from everywhere and would give inclusion to everyone. So Kiwanis Park continued. I believe all the changes would make the park better for everyone to use and would make the park a way better access for everyone in the community. It would allow for more walking ways for neighbors of the park and would give a way safer environment for everyone. Some challenges would be funding for all this to happen, especially because there are numerous parks in town and the Arc Park is really like new and it has completely reshaped park accessibility for everyone. So it would be a good change, but would be hard to have all of the same resources and equipment that is offered at the Arc Park and other parks like around here. So here are some of the pictures. I think on this picture, this is where I would add that like walkway over to that basketball court. And then right behind there, there's a walkway all the way around the park and it goes back this way. So I think it'd be a really good walk trail to have. And you could add that for any walking distance. It'd make it better for like this track. This picture is where all the stairs are. And I think you could definitely add like a ramp right here. And then these bottom three pictures are just like all the sand and wood chips and what I think I would replace with like rubber. And then, so my evaluation tool and the ADA compliance and accessibility. For my tool, I will make a checklist and have them scored on a scale of 1 to 3 or 0 to 3, excuse me. So 1A on the checklist would be parking interested in walkways. So there needs to be accessible parking available. There needs to be paved, clear walkways around the park, and there needs to be curbs and ramps in good shape and have nothing blocking them. For 1B, I did park navigation, accessible walkways to key areas like restrooms, playgrounds, and shelters, maps available and easy to access, paths clear of cracks and obstacles, and signage for equipment and park rules. So evaluation tool, section 1 continued. I also added restrooms and safety, just as like the basic, I guess, checklist. So ADA compliant restrooms available, which just means that they need to follow all the ADA guidelines and make sure that they're really safe for everyone to use. Adult size changing spaces. This would be big for anyone in the IDD community that may need it. Emergency information or signage. That would just be signage, what to do like in situations if there's a big storm or something happening. Safe surfaces, no drop offs, and has protected edges. That's talking more so about the whole park, like on like the machines and the equipment, just making sure that everything's protected. So section 1 would just be out of 33 points. So my evaluation tool for section 2, the HHP specific access for physical activity and recreation, playground and movement spaces. So adaptive playground equipment is really important. You have to have that if you want the inclusion of everyone. The ground surface is wheelchair friendly, and this is going to be talked about a lot because that's basically what's important, and you have to have that if you want the inclusion of everyone. Quiet play areas for sensitive users. So you don't want like the kids that are really sensitive to sound and others like to be really like disturbed with all that noise. And this park, it doesn't have many areas where you can do that, but it does have like some, I guess, benches and areas where you can sit and be by yourself. And then exercise opportunities. There's a lot of trails, but is there trails accessible? That's the first one. Distance markers and signs. So having those signs around the park, just showing you like how far everything is, and basically just a little map. And then is there space for activity or group activities or workouts? And then fitness stations adapted for everyone. So the evaluation tools section 2 continued. 2C would be sports and recreation areas. So field and courts with ramps or nearby parking, and modified equipment available if needed. That park wouldn't need it necessarily, but if you need like any of the equipment for whatever game you're going to play. Clear boundaries and visual markers for whatever courts and fields, basically just telling you the rules and what not to do. Open space for any other activities off to the side or anything like that. And then section 2 would also be out of 33 points. So evaluation tool, section 3, the overall environment. 3A would be inclusiveness and comfort. So park signage is usable for everyone. Volunteers or staff supportive if needed. I don't know a lot of parks that have staffs, but I just put it on there because their website, and if you need to reach out and find something, I would say that would be the best case. Benches and rest areas available, like the park Kiwanis, it has a bunch of benches and rest areas, so that's really good about it. So the spaces are welcoming to the families. That would be graded out of 3 as well. 3B would be communication and information. Visual schedules and maps available. Park website. The signs use icons and pictures to best describe the layout of the park. And then signs or staff given explanations to issues. Most likely staff if that park has one. And then my grading scale would be, for the whole checklist, it would be out of 90 points. So 80 to 90 being excellent for accessibility and great for people with IDD. 70 to 79 would be, it'd be really good, but it could use changes, and you can see that there could be really easy improvement. 60 to 69, it needs changes and improvement in some areas, and you can see a lot of outlying problems. 0 to 59 needs a lot of changes and is not user friendly and just does not work for a lot of people in general outside of the IDD community. And that is my PowerPoint. Thank you.